fair comes to Barnstaple once a year. A fair is made up of many fragments. Each pool of light is a business.
Don't let him tell you that
For a big fair like this, 1,000 people arrive from all over England. They spend a couple of days building up, it opens for 3 days, and then they pull it down again.
The small showman operates the side stalls and the hooplas, the bingos. He is a very important man. He's as important as the big man because he is the wall of the business. You see, a fair, we live off of one another.
Is on the green line, 21. Royal salutes, 21 green. On the yellow, 35. 3 and 5, 35 yellow.
It'd be no good for me to come here with 2 or 3 rides without any side shows and hooplas around me because there would be nothing to hold the people. And it would be no good for the side stalls and hooplas to come without the rides because we're all part and parcel of the fair.
You've never seen anything like it before. Come over and have a look, missus. Here, I don't know. That's what I sent to you for, isn't it? No good me having this board up here and standing up here like a fool all day if I'm going to open the tickets for you all. Is it?
To run any ride successfully, you must know quite a lot about it. When it is in operation, the person in the pay box has several jobs to do, looks after the amplifier, switches it on and off, collects the money, gives the change, and it's a concentration job. You have to watch the people getting on and off the cars, and when you're at a big fair, you have to coach the people along and give them a short ride, and if you feel that you're going to lose your crowd, then you have to lengthen the ride. And it's a concentration job from the time you get in the pay box till you get out. The speed of the car is controlled from the pay box, and you would get one operator perhaps would be running his cars a bit faster than the other one. Well, then you have to do the same to keep time with him. You have to let the public do what they like, and then if you do that, then you can take money. But if you try to put on a lot of sort of restriction of controls, say one way around the track and don't bump and no head-on bumping, well, then the fun of the ride just falls to the ground.
now I never get heartbroken. No, I never get the blues.
A fairground in the morning is a peaceful place, a quiet African village in canvas. It doesn't give away its secrets, but from the huts you can hear the pennies coming out of the one-armed bandits. The travelling showmen, the fair people, are very close about their profits. It's difficult for the outsider to find out how they really do. If you took only the days that the fair was open, the money would be wonderful. But what they make in the summer has to keep the owner and his family through the winter and pay for repairing or replacing equipment. Apart from running costs, the machinery is expensive. One Dodgem car costs £350. Many families only run one stall. The competition's fierce. Luck plays a big part. The results, though, seem to be satisfactory. Most of the showmen apparently enjoy a fairly good standard of living, and the bigger firms do very well.
It's not actually a closed shop to get into our business. But they want to know all about you before you do. If you're an outsider, you see, and you happen to marry a showman's daughter or a son, they find out all about you to see like if everything's all right. A person couldn't come in and just open a stall on the ground and take a pitch and open up, you see, because our union wouldn't allow it really. Well, once they're in, they're not classed as outsiders, you see. They're part and parcel of the fair, even if they've been at 10 years or 1 year. My own daughter-in-law, I mean, so she's married last November, but she's adapted herself very well to it. Of course, it was strange to her first. But then if you've got a mother and father at the back of you and tell you what to do, they take a leaf out of your book and there you are.
Our people have the telly, they have the electric washing machines, electric flat irons, and life is a lot more easier both for the men and the ladies of Showland. A lot of the hard work has been taken out of it, and not before its time. The old people, they had to be tough to live. Money wasn't so easy to get hold of in the old days of the travelling showman. He had to work very hard for every penny he could get. And no doubt there was quite a few on a fair day when they opened in the morning. They didn't have very much. I expect some of them didn't have their breakfast. It was an hard life, because it was just pennies and tuppences in those days. The showman's life today is a lot easier than what it was. The slavery has gone out of it. The new rides are lighter. They don't need so many men to get them around the country. And life is a lot more easier in the 60s for the showman, the same as it is for everyone else.
The showman's character seems to be a curious combination of the sailor and the farmer. Like the sailor, they travel, they have friends in every town, they are practical and self-reliant. But they have a farmer's repose, a farmer's eye for business, and a farmer's love of talking about their work.
I think that's what we should do, though. I'm hoping so, anyway.
Anyhow,
To do with the rest.
Back there?
Pardon?
How did you end up back there?
Just a little down from last year. Nothing in it, really, you know.
Yeah, well, I
Not
was
considering.
lucky. I chopped over the different tool. It was the first time I tried it, so I mean, I was satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
But if I had the other thing there, I think I'd have been money down.
Yeah.
Everybody sort of complained up there.
Mm.
At about 2 o'clock, the piece comes to an end. The fairground wakes up. The generators are started, the sideshows open, and the freaks get ready to horrify and mystify. Dracula's daughter lies down in her coffin.
Madame Bounds, the bear lady, she was part woman, part bear. I remember her as a boy. She had her own show, and in the show was a raised platform, and she used to sit on there and do coaching and knitting, and she would walk around and exhibit herself in front of the public on this, and she would allow them to pull the fur on her hindquarters, because a lot of people thought it was the skin she had on. But it was not a skin at all, it was just as she was. And she was, I think, one of the finest freaks that were ever shown in this country. And she used to have a nighttime love it when the show and the fair was all closed. She used to love to come out and have a run around on all fours. She was more comfortable that way, but when she stood upright, she had the same movement as a bear.
You can bring the kiddies if you like. Damn bars are very fond of children, especially if they're tender.
The mainstay of the business in the old days was the gallopers, galloping horses, and the switchbacks. They still had the novelties. It was the semi-twister, the razzle-dazzle, the cakewalk, the tubes, and the penny on the mat. And today the dodgem and the jungle ride or Noah's Ark is the mainstay of this business.
The afternoons are for the children. They come for a few hours, and in that time they learn to love the fair. They are the business of the future, the answer to people who feel that fairs will die out.
We're somewhat like the farmers, you know. We want rain in one field and sunshine in another. And the weather plays an important part in this business. And if we're at a seaside place like the Devonshire Regatta, we don't want it too boiling a hot day because we don't get patronised till the evening because the people are there to enjoy the seaside and there they stay. But if you get a dull, damp day, it looks as if it's going to rain and it doesn't. That's a better day for business for us at the seaside resort.
44 and 3-1. Any further claims?
You would care to mention. And I repeat once again, sports, each and every challenger that steps out of the audience in the pavilion is a genuine challenger, and every contest a honest one or counts. I don't care who you are, where you come from.
Of course, there's keen competition when we do open, and everyone's minding their own business. You'll find son in competition with his father and son-in-law in competition with his father-in-law. But the nice factor about it is that if either one of those persons were broken down at a fair or had anything go wrong, their lights went out, you'll generally see that not one showman will run, half a dozen will run to go and see what's the matter with Jack, Tom, Dick or Harry. There is more tension at a big fair because the rides are duplicated like at Barnstable, but there was 4 dodgems, 2 octopuses, 2 jungle rides. Well, you get more keyed up at a big fair because you're watching every trick. It's a lot easier at a small fair. You know that if your dodgem is stopped there, there's someone else who's not going to get your customer. You go on more contented.
A fair is an elaborate organisation with a very strict code of conduct drawn up by the Showmen's Guild. They have their own tribunals to settle disputes between showmen, which can sometimes be bitter. They insist on the public being given a fair deal and ban certain games and selling techniques from the fairground. It's in the building up and pulling down that the organisation shows most. The stalls have to come down before the big rides can get out, and everyone wants to get away. They all have another fair to go to. In fact, they know where they'll be for most of the summer. Their routes are planned, pitches taken, before they set out at Easter. They don't like to miss a day's business from then to October.
Pulling down, the first job is to is the tilt, and that's a canvas over the top, you see. You untie that and unlace it in 4 sections and roll it in, and then you put it in the bags, and then you go around and get all the lights and all the wiring done, you see, so that you're down straight onto the frame. And you find that once they're done, I mean, then it's sort of straightforward work. The fastest we've ever had it down and packed up, ready for the road, is 2 hours and a quarter. But it just depends on if you're in a hurry or not. We think to ourselves, it's only got to be packed up once, so we just as well sort of get it over with. And that's why everyone seems to move quick, you know. You think, well, the quicker we get it done, the quicker we're finished.
The stalls and rides that come down so fast go up again just as fast. Some of the stalls will open again in Barnstable Market this afternoon. Others will open 30 miles away this evening. The fair melts away, families scatter. Some showmen won't meet again till next Barnstable Fair. The showmen used to use traction engines to pull their loads around. Those machines were polished and loved. The aristocrat of the road now is the diesel engine Scammell tractor. New, they cost £8,000. Looked after, they last for years. This one is 15 years old. They only travel 1,000 miles a year around the circuit of West Country fairs. The rest of the time their dynamos drive the roundabouts in circles.
The main thing that makes a good scammer driver is knowing the road, and most of the drivers in the West Country that work for us and for the White Lake firm have been all over these roads ever since they were children, and they know where all what we call the known bad hills are.
I've driven fast cars and lorries and everything there is to drive, more or less. But when you get in a scammer, it's different. You know that you're it sort of thing. You've got all that weight and all that length, 3 trailers behind you, and you're going along, and perhaps you're only doing about 25 mile an hour, and you really think you're taking off. There's no doubt about it. With a scammer, it's a 6-fold box, you see. When you're changing, say, from 3rd to 2nd, if you don't just get it in right at that split second, as soon as you dip your clutch, you're stopped, you see, because of the weight. And then if you don't watch yourself, you're back down the hill. My favourite part of this business is the road. I love it. I do. I love the coupling off and just stopping on a roadside and perhaps having a pint of shandy or something, in the summer.
Our people, they drive their own homes, and when a showman hits the road with his lorry and his living van, his whole world is with him. His wife, his family, it's his office, it's his home.
George DeVay's father married into one of the old West Country fair firms. George himself grew up in the business. He's never done anything else except for war service. His home's always been a caravan. Any other life would be impossible, too constricting for him. It gets in the blood when you're young. When schooling's finished, the children usually follow their parents. There's a strong feeling for family continuity in the firms. It's also practical to have your own children in the pay boxes, where large sums of cash have to be handled.
Well, the men are very free. They work haphazard hours, but they enjoy it as much as we do. And I think one of the reasons for that is that if one of the men has got a grouse, or he wants to know something, or he wants to do something, he just come up and say, well, Governor, shall I do so-and-so and so-and-so? Or can I have an half a day? Or, well, he can't do that in any other trade. Time he's got to go through the various offices and see the shop steward and then the foreman. Time he gets to the manager, I mean, the man could be dead.
Living in caravans on the fairground, a showman's life is always on show. He gets used to living in front of the public. The showman's wives keep the caravans immaculate. They have to, or living in caravans would be intolerable. The first thing they do at a new site, especially if it's grass, is to put everything possible outside and clean up. These caravans are part of the fair tradition. Many showmen now live in modern mass-produced caravans, but the rest still prefer the old-style caravans which are still being made individually. These have cost as much as £9,000. Usually they cost the same as a 3-bedroomed house, with possibly £400 worth of engraved glass and mirrors inside. Above all, for the showman, it's a way of life. They're their own masters. They have the sort of personal freedom that's becoming rare.
Well, it was during the war. I came home on leave, and my wife informed me that my uncle was very ill and wasn't expected to last much longer, so I go down and see him. And he reminisces about the old days when the firm was in a very small way with a small show at Bolton New Year Fair. And I remember the date quite well. It was 1887. They stood at the end of the fairground. Very bad position. They were newcomers to the fair. And it doesn't matter how they tried to work to get the house in, they couldn't get house in at all. The big shows were too strong for them. And they had no money at all. So when they'd finished one parade on the front, the father said to Uncle, he said, "You got any money, Roland?" He said, "You know I haven't got any money." He said, "Well, you must have something." He said, "Well, if you must know," he said, "I've got 8 So father had the 8 off of Uncle Roland, goes up to the chemist and buys 8 for Condis crystals, you see. And he'd arranged with the chemist to bandage my uncle up. So father come back with the crystals, mixed them up in the water and throw them over Uncle Roland and run with him through the people up to the chemist, got him bandaged up. Brought him back in, carried him back into the show. Other uncle put a board outside. Captain Roland will perform tonight with the Untamable Lion. So as the evening come along, so the people got outside the show and they rolled into the show. They had a packing house. So Uncle Roland is now ready to go into the lion's cage. And my father used to work the doors and the bars for him to get in and out, which was rather a tricky job in those days because they were only a very small cage. And father gets on his hands and knees pulling on Uncle's trousers. "Don't go in, sir. Don't go in. He will kill you. Don't go in." And father's that making out to cry in front of the public, you know. And Uncle Roland at the same time is trying to say out the corner out, "Let go of me trousers. Let go of me trousers. The pin's given in the back." Well, anyhow, they had a very good evening, and after the first house was in, they gave my mother some money to go up and buy the groceries to have something to eat. And that was show business in the raw. It was hard for the new beginners at that particular time. What makes a good showman? He must like it, and he must be prepared to take the risks of the business. If he gets a wet fair day or gets half blowed away, then he must accept it as if he's had a very good day.
Anyway, I like it. 56 per shilling. Anyway, I like now. Only knock off you out there. Come on, Jack. Anyway, I like. Only knock off you out there. Way I like. 56 per above.
I can have tried again, sir. 4 shots per shilling. All you knock off you have. Anybody else? Try again, then. Anybody else? Yeah, sir, you're going to give the try the guns?
Try you like this side. Come on, try you like. All cash when you wish. Fall from on this side. Pick where you like. On you look. Good truck. Say every name in a bobbin surprise. That must be name in a mother. Sorry.
Still trying.
How are you going to go? Pick where you like. Play to it. I say, madam, would you like one?
On fair day we go to look and be looked at. We go to be admired. We can also give vent to destructiveness, quite respectably.
There are some people who don't like fairs because of the noise, but you can't have a Christmas party without noise. I mean, noise is the environment of the fair. They're just giving vent to their feelings. They're enjoying themselves.
We seem to need fairs to make us feel helpless again. As children are thrown around by their fathers, half happy, half terrified, so the showmen throw us around.
We've got regular customers like a butcher's got regular customers. You get the same face every year. You even get them people come that don't like fairs, just to see what they can complain about.
I think I like so much about the life is because you're not really tied. It's not like going to a factory or something like that. You've got the same in, same out. With this life, you don't. Even if you are a little bit fed up, I mean, with every walk of life or in every job, you're bound to get those moments. They don't seem to last very long. You know, you're sort of fed up this minute, and the next minute you're right as rain again.
Oh, we were bred and born in it. It's the only business we know, and we'll admit we've had rough weather and we've seen rough times, and our people have before us, but we seem to pull through some way or another.
If I came back again, I should still like to be a showman because we find a lot of pleasure in seeing people enjoy themselves.